Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Clarence.
And I'm Yalonda. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by writing a book together about what it took to get us here.
And in this podcast, we go deeper and break down what we learned along the way. We hope you enjoy and engage.
Comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say about what it takes to make relationships last.
Yes, we will.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a minute.
It has. We hope you didn't miss us too much. We took a week off to celebrate our 28th anniversary. Happy anniversary to you, babe.
Happy anniversary to you. We hope you missed us a lot. I actually hope you missed us a lot.
Yeah, so welcome to episode 13, lucky number 13 of Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Yalonda.
And I'm Clarence.
And for our 25th wedding anniversary, we wrote a book called The Rhythm of Love, 25 Things That 25 Years of Marriage Taught Us. And we have started a podcast based off that book. And you're here in episode 13 today. Thank you for all episodes you've watched, liking us on IG and Facebook, etc.
Correct.
And today we're going to be talking about rules of engagement.
I guess that's a good... You titled it. You have just titled it, Rules of Engagement. So, one of the chapters, though, let's do this off the top before we get into Rules of Engagement. We had been running a contest in June, so let's go ahead and announce our winners. So we have RP Durham, who has won the prize pack.
Ooh, she has commented and commented and commented.
So she's been very engaged. We
appreciate you, RP Durham.
But because we had another person who was also very close, not quite as many, but very close, we're going to find something and send you something too, and that's for Curious Jaw. So she knows who she is. We're going to we'll reach out to you and get your addresses and things like that, and so we can send these prize packets to you. So RP Durham, who has lots of comments on YouTube, and Curious Jaw, who is pretty much on YouTube, some on Facebook. Some on YouTube, some on IG.
Yes.
And things like that. And, shout out to a couple of other people, M. Cloudy and Miss Frosty.
And Curry Crab.
They were really close too, but
yes.
This is just, you got to draw the line somewhere. Somewhere.
We made promises and we have to fulfill them.
Correct. And we'll start putting something together for our prize pack for either August or September. We have some things that we're looking at, so we'll be able to get those taken care of.
Yeah,
August or September. So I wanted to make sure we got that out of the way. We've been talking about that for a couple of weeks.
For a while,
and
yes.
And it just took us a while. We had some time in the airport, and we had some time, in the hotel to actually go through and make sure we got
counts and all of those
and
things.
Get those things taken care of. So,
but keep liking, keep commenting. We still want to hear from you all. We love the engagement.
We appreciate it. Absolutely. All right. So, Rules of Engagement, which is a great title. It's probably going to be the title of the podcast. You just came up with it. I thought it's wholly
appropriate.
So, this won't be a drag 'em, knock down kind of fight conversation that we had tonight. It's
at least not. It's not planned to be.
It won't be. I mean, I'm not fighting with you.
You'll be the one coming with
I'm not fighting with you.
Swinging.
I'm not fighting with you.
All right.
So, in the book, one of the chapters that we wrote, one of our chapters that I wrote, it was called It's Written All Over Your Face. And the reason I named it that after the Rude Boys track
It's written all over your face.
Exactly. The reason I named the chapter that is because, some people have a poker face. Some people's face, you can look at them and not really know what they're thinking. And
you used to say that was my face.
Your face is not the same, but yes, I understand what you're describing, and your face is blank. It's a huge poker face.
Okay.
You have no idea what you're thinking based on how your face is, unless you catch the very beginning of when you start to think about it, and then you make you do something with your eyebrows, and then it goes away, and then once that's gone, if you didn't catch that, you got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. But whereas I, on the other hand, wear it all.
Oh yes,
I wear it all. You know exactly how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, because my face just shows everything of what's going on in my head. So because we have this difference, because we have this in how we express ourselves, I wrote a whole chapter on how to give Yalonda what I'm thinking in a way that she will accept it.
Obviously when it's criticism, or when it's disagreement or argument, those kind of things.
Whenever it's something she don't want to hear.
Yeah, that sums it up.
All those.
That sums it up.
And it might not be something she doesn't want to hear, but it's something I'm afraid she doesn't want to hear.
Okay.
It may not be something you actually don't want to hear. It's just, it's my interpretation of how you will respond, not necessarily positively to what I'm saying. And that's not always true. Sometimes it can be very positive. But, you want positive interactions in your marriage. That doesn't mean you always get them.
Right. You can't always avoid, just only say the positive things and hold the negative things in.
Right. There's no growth. There's no growth with that. There's no growth. So what we're going to do in this particular episode, because I wrote this chapter, I'm going to talk about some of the techniques that I have employed over the years. And I'm going to give Yalonda a chance to tell me how successful they were and why those things are true. And maybe from hearing those things, you can infer something for yourself and figure out whether or not it's working for you or whether or not it doesn't work, or it does work. Okay. So so let's start with number one. My first, especially when we were really starting early, because really this is chronological.
Is it chronologically right?
Absolutely, it's chronological.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's
okay. I did not realize that.
It's chronological. So the first thing I did was just tell you straight out what I think.
Yes, you did.
You just say, this is what I think, and it doesn't necessarily have to be angry, but hey, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. You should do, and not even I think, you should do this.
Right.
The choice of words was not specific, but it was not as well chosen as maybe it could have been. So it was, you should,
or
you should.
Why don't you?
Why don't you? Why haven't you? What's taking you so long? All these kind of things. So being very, very blunt, I guess. Blunt, straightforward. And why didn't that work?
Because I'm a sensitive soul, and you have to be gentle with me. I need gentle, loving care, tender kindness. And
why is it not kind?
It's not kind to me. If you start off, that's why I picked "Why don't you?" because that was a very common way that you would come at disagreeing with me. Why don't you da da da? And we just had this conversation about questioning, as opposed to
asking a question,
being curious. It was like a condemnation, right? It wasn't asking a question it wasn't just asking a question to me the way I heard it. And, you know, it just, there was no sugar on that medicine spoon. It was just very straightforward and almost a tone of frustration that I hadn't thought of doing it the way that you would do it, or a tone of rejection, like I had already rejected some good idea that you had given me. So that's how I took it.
But in a much softer tone, isn't all of those things true? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but,
right, but nobody wants to be, you know, when you're questioned in a way that it seems like you should have thought of this, you know. I mean, I did think about what I was doing in the way that jibed with me and what I wanted to try to accomplish, or, you know, whatever. We're talking, always speaking in vague terms, but, yeah, no. You know, a more gentle, oh, have you thought about XYZ? Or, you know, if that was me, I would blah, blah, blah. And one thing I also remember is that it would carry a tone of warning as well. Like, okay, you can go ahead and do that if you want, but I'm telling you, it's going to turn out badly. I'm telling you, you know, you're missing something, but not in a caring way. It didn't feel like caring.
I don't have no response for any of that. I don't have one response for any of that. We will definitely end up in the sex wars, in the gender wars. If I start responding and going into that, we have grown.
You know, I can say that I have grown too, because, you know, some of what I was dealing with obviously was within my own self. You know, a people pleasing type of approach to life, particularly your pleasure and your satisfaction or your approval of what I was of how I was approaching any one thing mattered to me. And, you know, I kind of, and, you know, it always goes back to how you grew up, right? You know, grew up in a kind of a judgmental space where either I or someone else in the family was always there was a better way. You didn't do it the right way. You didn't do the best way. You know, and so I carried that into our relationship. And so, of course, some of what I was putting on to what you were saying was things that I brought in, and not necessarily what you were trying to imply. Which is
a perfect segue to the second phase of my life.
Yes.
Which was, I just won't say anything.
Right.
I will allow her to live and do the things that she wants to do the way she wants to do them. And I won't say anything because I don't want her to believe that I am being judgmental or that I am being curt with you or any of those types of things, or short with you. So I'll let you live. If that's a way to describe it.
That is a way to describe it. And it also, even the words that you're saying is making me think of, you know, you're a highly opinionated guy in general terms. And so, you know, you have an opinion about just about everything, you know, how a person is driving, which direction why didn't you go the other way? You're going to get caught in traffic this way, or, you know, whatever the thing is that you think is going to happen. You know, there's just the multitude of, you know, why did you cook the spinach with onions? So, I think when you don't say something, obviously we already just discussed it. Your face tells it all. So even if you don't say anything, either your face, your body language, you will, sit a certain way. You won't respond if I, lay my hand on your leg, or, you're not laughing at my jokes. It's just, I can tell something's off and you're in disagreement with what's happening. You breathe differently when you disagree.
I'm not saying that I don't understand the words you're saying, but so this is what I hear. I want you to disagree and be happy about it.
No, I don't.
That's what I want you to not just disagree.
You're saying that you were holding back on what you were saying, what you wanted to say.
But I want you to hold back and be happy.
The point is, I could detect the unhappiness. It's not that I want you to be happy. It's that some of that people pleasing plays into that. If you're not having a good time with what we're doing, then I'm not having a good time. Or if, I can't come up with another analogy right away or example right away, but your discomfort and your dissatisfaction would end up affecting me. 1, 2, I do value your opinion. You often have good suggestions and good ideas, and I recognize that, but I don't need the negative side of you could have thought of this. You realize you don't need me to think of this.
You realize the orifice is getting smaller and smaller of how I got to get this information to you.
This was in the beginning.
Saying,
right. I can receive things better now.
It was.
I don't take your disagreement as a judgment of me personally. So this was early on.
Chronological.
The aperture has opened for you to express your.
I said orifice, which is much different, but opening nonetheless. I did say orifice. Aperture is what the word I was looking at. Orifice was the word I was looking at.
Catch that, but now that you pointed out, yes, you did say orifice.
I meant aperture.
One orifice is widening too terribly much, but the aperture can widen.
Speak for yourself. Well, I guess I should be speaking for myself. Speak for myself.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Not speak for yourself. Speak for myself. I'm with you on that. So, all right. This puts us on to
number 3.
Number 3, which was I tried to get you to listen to what I was saying and learn to ignore how I may have been saying it.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That even now, I struggle with ignoring the tone. The tone, I hear the tone loud and clear. What was the citation you have in that paragraph?
Oh, but hold on.
Studies have found.
What study? Oh, I had something.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have a citation in here. It didn't work, but
it worked for me.
It just said that 70 to 93. That's voodoo. It's just.
I mean, it's human behavior. Yes,
social sciences.
It's a little softer. It's not going to be exact.
70 to 90% of communication is nonverbal, and I'm not saying that that's not true. What I'm saying is you got to filter it out.
Right. I had to train myself to filter it out. I have to remind myself that, okay, he's not coming for me. He's not coming for me. This is not personal. In most cases, it's not personal. Sometimes it's personal, but this is not personal. It's just that, he has a different idea of how this should be done or how we should approach this.
But it also goes the other direction. Mm-hmm. You say things, and I have to get through your tone. Now, the funny thing is, your tone is the exact opposite. I have to get you to get to the get to. Come on and tell me what it is that you actually trying to tell me.
Because I'm trying to couch it. I'm trying to. It's not that I don't. It's don't take it this way.
Get to the get to.
Because see, I'm looking out for your feelings. I know we disagree on whether feelings matter.
It's
or
not
not.
whether. So we don't disagree with whether or not feelings matter. Feelings matter, but just because they matter doesn't mean that they have to take priority.
Right. No,
I have to. Well, maybe that's. Growing up, since we're talking about growing up examples,
growing up,
get over your feelings and get to it. And I'm not sure that I'm not going to classify it as a male thing or a female thing. No,
it's not.
But it was certainly
with you and your brothers.
Get your feelings together
from your dad.
And let's get going on what we're going to do.
We're going to do this anyway.
A lot, and I'll say this, and a lot of that comes directly from sports, because sports just
you don't have time. You don't have time.
Right.
The next play is coming.
So I played boys club football, and I hold the record for sacks in a season.
All right.
Not sacks that I sack somebody, being sacked. Being sacked. I hold the record for a number of times that I have been sacked in a season. It was horrible. It was.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Horrible.
I would not have laughed at the time.
And I mean, I'm certain I was concussed at least 3 times.
Yeah, this was way before concussion protocol.
I mean, and the coach would just take you out there. I mean,
I remember, got your bell rung, son. Just
I remember one time just laying on the field and just thinking, it's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way.
Should have been looking at your line hello, people.
I was young. I was not overly confident in myself.
Yeah.
I was not it was the first time I had ever played organized football. You play in the neighborhood, but it was the first time I ever played organized football, and it was a complete disaster.
Sure.
And I never ever went back. Yeah. And my father has said, and my brothers have said, that if I could have gotten over that and gotten through that I actually could have been a pretty good football player, because I actually have great hands. I actually,
and I'm sure, and you read the field well.
Yeah, I mean, in order to do anything like that, what you're talking about, reading the field well and stuff like that, you got to play. You got to be out there, because the speed of the game moves, and you have to physically.
I'm comparing to how you played basketball, where you had to read the
court. But basketball,
you played basketball,
I didn't get any concussions,
right?
And I played a lot more basketball, and I didn't actually start to be able to read the floor until much later, but in the beginning, it's just people moving around out there, and you can be it can be kind of whirlwindy.
Trust me, I remember from our stints at the co-ed basketball.
So we played
football. Co-ed football.
We played both.
We played co-ed.
We played,
right. But it was the football where I was like,
they moving. I have
no idea what's going on.
We played co-ed basketball.
Yes.
And Yalonda, and I'm the coach on this team, and I'm telling her that you guys are moving in absolute slow motion.
Almost reverse.
You guys are moving in slow motion.
The crazy thing was, I look athletic, and so people always, and I'm fairly tall for a woman. People would just assume that I could play and want to check me so close and so hard. I'm like, dude, I'm not a threat.
She can't play. She
not
can't
a
play.
threat. My team is not gonna pass me the ball. Do not worry.
She's not a threat at all.
I remember that one big dude was just on me. I was like, relax.
Yeah.
I am not a threat.
Yeah. If I hadn't gotten hurt, playing with y'all got me hurt.
Well,
but it's not
that
your
little
fault.
chickadee got you hurt.
I should have ran her over. If I
to
tried to avoid her,
she probably would have been fine.
or she'd be dead.
Dead. Weren't nearly as heavy then as you are now. So
Well, you're right. You're right. She might not have been dead.
she wouldn't have been dead. She might have been concussed.
She might have been concussed. All right. So
but your ankle would have been fine.
my ankle would have been better. Right.
So, but anyway, yes, you had learned to pack your feelings away, and I think that's fine in plenty of circumstances when you have to push through. But if you're at home with your family, I think there should be more room for a little bit of protection, a little bit more gentleness, a little bit more talking through the feelings as opposed to just stuff those feelings aside. You know, what's the point of what you're supposed to be learning today?
So, what I would say to that is, I think that's why it's helpful. That's what I'll use. That's the words I'll use. That's why it's helpful to have both personalities
in the house. It really is.
Because
it really is.
You know, the kids need both of those.
Yeah.
And
okay. I'll take that.
And you both need both of those. So you gotta go. I gotta lean a little bit more towards you, and you gotta learn to lean a little bit towards me. And then
which is what we have done over
time.
Yes.
All right.
My sense of humor has been sharpened. I'd rather turn it into a humorous situation than.
I'm not always happy with that.
I know you're not.
I'm not always happy.
Say that to your dad today.
I'm not always happy with that either. But I don't.
What's so freaking funny?
What's so funny? I'm not sure what's so funny. So,
I'm keeping it light. You know.
It's not light
we'll
though.
Get there. We'll get to the seriousness.
All right.
It's got to be. You know, I got to do what I got to do to work in this situation.
Which is perfect.
For the next one?
For the next one. We're going to get through this episode. All right. So I tried to simply point out your options. These are some things that you can consider doing. That way it's not me telling you what to do. That way it's not me not saying what I think, but presenting them as options and walking away. Simply present your options and walk away.
Sure.
And I'm not sure that worked either.
I can't think of some situations where that worked or didn't work. I do appreciate that. I think the part is the backhand side is that once you know what option I've chosen, or if I continue on my path, like if I'm coming to you saying, you know, this is what I'm about to do, and you give me options, first of all, as the first clue is he don't agree with what I'm planning on doing, because why is he giving me options?
Okay.
And then also when I say, oh, that's great, I'm, going to do this, either I'm changing to something new or a mixture of what you said, then it's your facial expression is going to show when
that's why I write in here.
You would choose that option.
That's why I write in here. I say what I say and I leave.
Yeah, you got to leave.
I got to leave.
Immediately
I got to leave.
And for the duration of me,
we don't even discuss
entertaining this option.
We don't even discuss it.
We can't come back to it.
There's no discussion of this. Right. This is over.
Right.
I've done all that I can do to not do.
Yes. And that works. I mean, that can work.
I'm not sure it works. Yes, exactly.
I mean, I don't know. What do you have a thought? Are you thinking of a situation where you're like, Just
I mean, no, I'm not thinking
Okay.
of a specific situation. It's these are all generalities. We would
Right.
give more examples if we could. We just don't remember them because
Yeah.
you just,
because you don't hold on to the
Right.
things that bother you.
You
try not to hold on
Right.
to those
So we let 'em
things.
go.
We let them go.
So I don't
Put them in the sea of forgetfulness.
I hear you.
My sea is a little bigger than yours.
My C is pretty small, but
But even in this instance,
it
you're
does
not
exist.
thinking-
It does exist.
Right.
It does exist.
Whatever the case was, you have thrown it out. Okay.
So
Yeah.
So that brings us to the very, very last choice, which was I just used any of those things whenever I could. I just pick my spots and say, this time I'm gonna do this, and this time I'm gonna do this, and this time I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, and I think you have learned to read me a little bit as well, of how closely I hold something to my person
Sure.
in terms of, if you are talking about what we're going to do with the kids versus just what we're going to do for dinner, then, obviously it's going to be more meaningful to me that we come to a good place about it, when it's more important. And I think you do better now. I think, when we first got married, you just were like opinion. I got an opinion about everything. And it was a little, I didn't have a lot of room to move around.
And part of that is I don't understand why another person doesn't have an opinion. Because that would be
Right.
my thing to you
yes.
is, why don't you?
Oh, my
This is what I
gosh.
think about that. How can you not have a thought about this?
And it's not even not having the thought. It's not articulating it well. What's my thing then? Very much processing inwardly and not prepared to have to process outwardly, whereas you are the exact opposite. Sometimes I think you just talk to me to process through what it is you're thinking about doing.
It's possible.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn this to the side. I'm going to nail this.
It's very
and you
possible.
walk me through the whole thing of what you're going to do.
It's very
Whereas
possible.
I'm having that whole kind of processing moment right inside here. And I want to present like I want to present the perfect flow of this is how it's going to be. And my brain just does not work like that. And, I have to do a lot of, maybe write it down, maybe, delete, move, change the order before I'm actually saying something that you can follow from point to point to point, or a person can follow from point to point to point. My brain is just like all over the place.
So I understand now much more than I understood then, because it just didn't make a lot. I couldn't make it make sense to me. But what I will say to you, watch me use one of my techniques.
All right.
What I will say to you is this: if you process it to the end internally and then present it to whomever, you are much more hurt by the
I can see that.
the
Because,
changes
hey,
that
I've
people
spent all this time,
the
right.
changes that people want to
wanna-
make in your plan, or the
Yeah.
holes that they punch in your plan. It makes you significantly more invested in the solution that you have come up with.
Yeah.
Whereas if you work it through live or while you're working and say, hey, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? You give that other person a chance to punch their holes in it before you have fully invested in that thought and in that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the logic of that. It's just when I'm processing, I'm wide open. So as soon as as soon as I start receiving, then I stop processing through my own thoughts, and I'm already just interjecting what you're saying, or what a person is, how a person is, the feedback that I'm getting. So I need to at least have thought it through so that I can be more clear in response to that feedback, in response to the punching of the holes. And so I just have to remove this personal investment and say, in order for me to even have the conversation in a way that is a clear presentation of my thoughts, I gotta think it through. I gotta write it through, something. So even if it's, an outline, something, in order to feel like I can have a full back and forth conversation with you.
I am a huge advocate of a plan. You know this. I'm a huge advocate of a plan. So I don't mind if that's what you're implying. But it always seems a little stronger than just a rough plan.
Sure. I will definitely take that feedback into consideration. If that's what is appearing like I'm defensive now of this plan that I have come up with. I become defensive. I will take that feedback because, I do find myself having to remind you a lot that I appreciate your thoughts. And, please ignore that I'm like, here he go again. Punching holes. So I appreciate it. Just because even if I don't take your suggestion, it just makes me make another consideration.
All right.
Yeah. And now, what I try to do is also talk it over with my girls too, so that, and we're talking about kind of bigger things at this point.
And they don't get no more blunt.
True. I mean, I get my feelings hurt by
They're
them too.
Those two are two of the most direct and straightforward people in the world.
I get my feelings hurt by them too, every now and then, one. And two, most of the time, the presentation is the way I can receive it. We see each other, they see me, they know how to.
So you need friends.
Come at me. Oh, most definitely.
So that's the other take home point.
Take home point.
We need some friends. You need a council of friends.
And early on in our relationship, I did withdraw from some of my friendships, and particularly those friendships. And, after not based on us getting married, but based on based on me leaving medical school or whatever, based on me not feeling so great about that choice, I kind of just withdrew from friendships. And so circling back to those things and really just having that time with them is major. It's so important for how I can then come back and deal with you, Ninja.
And who told you should do those things?
I don't know.
Exactly.
The Lord.
Who?
My Bible.
Who told you should do those things?
My friends.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you some credit. I've been giving you credit
I'm not asking for credit. I wasn't asking for credit.
Oh,
I wasn't asking for credit. I was just saying how my advice wasn't received because of how it was presented, or that it was too direct, or sort of thing. But
you need some friends.
But it was good advice.
Sure. Well, then I'm glad that you worked on your advice giving temperament.
Yes,
I'm really glad you did that.
It was never bad advice. It was good advice. So okay. Anyway, we won't. So anyway. I'll
please write good advice in the comments.
Yes, if you got advice for
Clarence
us,
gives good advice.
Hashtag,
write that.
No, you ain't got it. Hashtag advice. If y'all got some advice for us, just hashtag good advice, and we'll say. Yolonda's hairdresser gave us advice.
Yes.
She said,
my colorist said, you need to stop putting your videos up in landscape. And put them up in portrait. So if you have been following us from the beginning, or if you just see some, especially on IG, she said landscape is for YouTube, portrait is for IG. And I felt very old hearing her say that. But, I kind of knew it because we're on IG. We see that the majority of posts are in portrait mode.
I didn't even pay attention.
Really?
It never even dawned on me until she said it.
Really?
And once she said it, I noticed it.
Well, I kind of brought it up with her. I had noticed it. And because I do try to read some of those or listen to some of those, the advice you get from some of the influencers who want to actually share advice about how you can grow your following and things like that. I've come across that information, but she just kind of confirmed it for me. But anyway,
so
thank you, B Evans Hair. That's the letter B dot Evans Hair.
Yes.
Or this, what you see, how she be hooking my color up, and she does all kinds of. She'll snatch your edges if that's what you want to. Anyway.
These are all terms that mean nothing to me. Thank you. That's all I can say to her. My edges have been gone for a very, very long time, so I don't even have no edges. So I don't even get a shape up.
Nobody knew. Unless people know you, because you always have on a hat when we're on stream. Or, see, you could have kept that to yourself.
It's no big deal. I've been losing my hair since I was 19 years old.
Yes. Since right before we met.
Yeah. I've been losing my hair so it was gone. The barber said, I don't even know what you're doing over here, sir. I'm not even sure. All right. So we've gone through these examples of tonight of just, things that we have tried over the years, because most of the time it's all in relationships. There's one person who might be like me, where they are, the more outwardly sharing their, and one who thoughts, is more internal.
Yes.
And so these are some of the tactics that I use because I wrote this chapter, and this is actually the first time we've had a conversation to kind of discuss why those things worked or didn't, or if they worked, and why they worked or why they didn't work. So you guys got a chance to kind of hear that this week. So
we hope that it sparks some conversation between you and your spouse, partner, friends, just thinking about, how you maintain relationships and what are the rules of engagement with you.
Right. That's why we call it the rules of engagement. So let's do a little housekeeping.
Yes.
And then, so again, we are on every Sunday night. It's not every. We are on most Sunday nights because we missed a couple recently because we've been traveling. But we're on Sunday nights on twitch.tv/DJ C Sharp, where we do Heartbeats in the Basement, where I play tunes and
I just hang out with the folks in the chat.
If I could get her to be my producer, we would actually be able to do more stuff. But she got buttons over there. I told her how to push it.
You didn't train me on the buttons.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I need the training. And that's just scene changing, right? Yeah. That's all you need is somebody doing scene changing? Because sometimes you're like, ooh, I want to show you this.
But that's
fine.
Those are one-offs. But if we get raids,
I could press the raid button. I got you, babe. I got you. I'm sometimes a little tipsy in there, but
see,
I think I can handle it.
Okay, all right,
we'll
see.
I'm a smart girl. I'm a quick study.
Yes, we're going to see. All right, and I don't think we have anything else
coming up. This Sunday, we will be doing a triple play Triple play third Sunday.
Triple play third Sunday.
We got to make sure the next time we're ready to.
They won't see this before that.
Oh yeah, it'll already be triple play Sunday. So what's the next Sunday after that?
The next Sunday after that is
the fourth Sunday.
Yeah, it's fourth Sunday special or fourth Sunday
surprise
fourth Sunday, something like that. I got the piece of paper downstairs.
Yeah, we gonna have it together next time. We're gonna be able to tell you how the show is split. It's a new thing we're doing with the stream on Sundays. Right. It's dedicating each Sunday of the month to a certain type of stream. Right,
like it's Spotlight first Sunday.
Yes, that means we spotlight an artist or group.
Is Sensual second Sunday.
Yes, where it's going to get sexy in there.
It is Triple Play third Sunday.
Triple Play, that means you will spotlight each different artists for 3 songs
in a row. Yes. And then we go on. We don't come back to the artist for the rest of the show. And then I think it was...
that's by request as well. So if you you can request an artist for him to play 3 songs.
Oh, no. You got to request in advance.
So sorry. You got to request in advance.
Because we will have pictures of the artists up too.
Okay. Of which artists are going to be the triple play artists of the night.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the last one was... fourth Sunday special, which was basic. I think that's what we called it. I'm not sure exactly.
I think we called it something cuter,
but it basically was that's the Sunday we do that we can do anything.
Yeah, it's like Serendipity Sunday.
It might be maybe.
Surprise.
Fourth Sunday surprise or something like that. So where we just anything goes.
DJ's choice. We might do any of the things that we have done in the past. Other themes.
Whether it's all live songs,
all live, all duets.
Right. Things like that. So
all big voice, all falsetto.
Right.
Yeah, all the things.
So thank you so much for your engagement and for hanging out with us. And we hope that you can use our stories to actually start to work out your rhythm of love so that you can
live by the rhythm and love by the rhythm.
Thank you so much.
Auntie Anita.
Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, IG, and all of our other socials. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care. Until next time.
We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yalonda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Book graphics by Rihanna Denise.
More information is available at cYLentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.